was a meeting that happened between Doug Sewell and I, the amp designer, in which we went through every single model and we had all the feedback from all the dealers, from all the artists, from all the sales guys, all of it. We knew what everybody had said, and this is a Dallas with just a couple of parts changes, which was, you know, it was a good meeting, because then what you're saying, things are coming up a level. We were listening to what everybody was saying to us, was that they really liked or they didn't want to happen, or they wanted to change or didn't want to change. You know, there's actually some sleepers in there. There's been some amps recently that we made that we weren't sure were going to turn out good, and people walked into our factory and said, "Listen to this," and we didn't even know. So we're learning from this huge feedback loop we have between distributors and dealers and artists, and without that feedback loop, be dead. It's interesting, Ted McCarty and Leo Fender used to have all the artists in constantly for the same kind of feedback loop. If you interviewed those guys, Leo would have everybody into Fender in California to get feedback about what he was doing, and Ted McCarty would bring all the artists into New York. We don't do that, because with the cell phones and internet and texting and all the new stuff we've got going on, believe me, I know what they think if they're sitting in Germany and it's late and something happened to the amp. I know about it as I'm waking up the next morning. So, or I'll know about it in the moment. I'll be interrupting David at dinner with his cell phone, right? So, sorry about that.
I always take your call, Paul.
Yeah, that's good. In the end, if somebody asks me what a DGT is, I say it's Texas in a box. You plug it in and it's got that sound. And what's interesting about it is I think it's the only kind of rock guitar that's ever been shipped with 11s straight out of the box. I mean, it's the first time with an unwound G. And you know, people were like, well, how's that going to go? But with the big frets, it feels like a set of 10s. I got a lesson when I was in Texas. I was using 9s at the time, and I broken a string, and I was screaming it. It was loud, and we needed an extra string, and I screamed it. Bugs Henderson, I need a 9, I need a 9. He says, I don't have a 9. I've flossed my teeth with those things. You know, where you're from, you know, 11s is a starting point.
Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, I think that, you know, look, this is not a macho thing at all. It's a tone thing. It's you know, the bigger the string, the more you're going to vibrate, you know, to cause the wood to vibrate.
That's right.
And generally, I think 99% of the time, the bigger the string, the bigger the tone. And I always put 6100 frets on my guitars. I had them refretted that way. And then put 11s on. And everybody that picked it up was like, there's no way these are 11s.
Yeah, right.
And when you have that bigger fret, you can... The string bending becomes easier. I also think that there's like a bloom in the note when you hold it and bend it that happens on a bigger fret. So that was something I did to all my guitars, which we incorporated into this. You know, playing the McCarty with trim for 12 years, I kind of was making this mental checklist of everything we wanted to change, and you know, they were little things but then they became big things. You know, and all this stuff started to come together. You know, the nitro finish was a really big deal for me. I really just felt like, yeah, all the great vintage guitars, when you found a great one, well, you know, and they're not all great. I mean, not every vintage guitar is great. In fact, the beauty of this guitar and your guitars is that the consistency level is off the charts compared to vintage guitars. I mean, you can go through, you know, I've gone through 20 Blackguard Tellys, and some of them are dogs. But you go through 20 of these or 20 of the McCartys, and you know, they're all within about this much of tolerance of each other. So
my job as a guitar maker is to take. We actually have a smaller window, like you're talking about, is to keep moving the window up, right? And I don't know. I'm pleased the way this is going. By the way, these are not 6100 frets. We redrew this and had our own model made just for you. So,
but they're spec'd to 6100.
Well,
right?
They're close.
See, now we got a real problem here.
they're exactly.
You snuck one in on me.
Actually, I talked to you and Ed about it, and now I send this fret wire to Ed for your refrets.
Right.
We were having trouble with some stuff. So
no, but I mean, they feel exactly like I want them to feel. We also even went to can I talk about this? Yeah. We changed the angle at which they're in the final polishing and finishing to give me a little more room on the edge of the fingerboard.
Of course, you can talk about all that. This is a different spec on your guitars than all the other guitars we made.
I mean, whereas in the past it was more of a sloped edge to the fret, it now is more of a rounded off contour, and I don't like slipping off the edge of the fingerboard. I like to have all that real estate there.
So in the end, one of the reasons we're here at Wildwood is that they carry DGTs. They're going to be carrying more DGTs as time goes on. They're experts on the phone. If you're looking for one of these instruments, there's a lot of ways you can sell. You can sell on service, you can sell on price, you can sell on selection, you can sell on knowledge, you can sell on lots of things. The thing that's nice about this dealer is they know about all those things. And my hope is that we're going to be selling a lot more DGTs as time goes on, especially we did a private stock run of them, and I'll bet you there'll be some more special runs that are coming of DGTs. We updated some of the colors, and we've changed the knobs, and the rings are a little different on some of
the new colors
things.
are coming at NAMM.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So here we go. We covered a lot of territory. About how artists and guitar makers work together. We talked a little bit about what you can expect from a good dealer. We talked about what you want from an instrument, about how consistent that you want the instruments to be when they arrive in a box and you didn't personally check the guitar, what that trust is about, when things haven't been right, how things can get difficult to get them straightened out, which I'm fine with. I like that process. This amp was the first time it's ever been plugged in since it's been burned in. We pulled it out of a box, and that's what it sounded like right out of the box, and that's what you can expect from the amplifiers, what you can expect from the cabinets. It's what you can expect in a recording studio if you put that mic or any mic in front of the amp. By the way, no matter what mic you put on Paul Rogers, it's still going to sound like Paul Rogers, right? So get a mic in front of the amp and enjoy the tone. We don't sell pedals, so this is a different animal. But I think this is all good, and I'm glad you came here to do this. You are in a basement full of
surrounded by
vintage gear.
I had to dab my chin when I walked down here, seeing all these amps. But
this is the stuff we grew up on.
It is. It's almost like I thought that maybe it was wallpaper.
No,
it can't be this many amps in here, but no. But yeah, it's been fun. It's great to be here in Colorado, even though I can't breathe quite as well as I'd like to.
There's a little thin here.
A mile high.
Yeah, if you guys are interested in a DGT, you should call Wildwood and see what they've got in stock, or maybe we could make you one special. You're in the right place, so thank you very much. Thanks for coming, David. Very much appreciated.
Thanks, Paul.
All good.